Welcome back to Go With Us, and this is everything you really need to know this week in Pokemon Go, running from the 26th of January all the way until February the 2nd. Let's get straight into our calendar now, and we're actually going to kick off the raids during this week, starting off with our Mega Raids, which is going to be Mega Ampharos coming in on the 25th, leaving on the 4th. If you guys want to know how good Mega Ampharos is in 2026, well, let's have a look at its base stats. Max CP of 4799, an attack of 294, 203 on defense, and stamina 207, so it's actually very, very strong. And how that currently translates is that as an electric type mega, it's the second best electric type mega in the game, and I think it's about the 10th or 11th spot as the best electric type attacker in the game, so definitely worth rating if you are trying to build an electric type team. As we do know, and if you didn't know, Mega Ampharos takes on a dragon typing as well once it is mega evolved. Unfortunately, with Dragon Pulse, it's barely breaking into the top 50, so it's definitely a better electric type attacker as opposed to a dragon type attacker. Remember, to take this thing down, you need to focus on its weaknesses, which is going to be Dragon, Fairy, Ground, and Ice. Moving on to our 5-star raids, and Thundurus is going out of rotation, and coming in is going to be Tornadus Incarnate form. Tornadus Incarnate is a pure flying type, max CP of 3782, an attack of 266, which is actually pretty solid, a defense of 164, and a stamina of 188. So immediately we can see this is a very glassy Pokemon, but it's going to hit pretty hard. Its weaknesses are Electric, Ice, and Rock if you do want to take it down. Unfortunately, how this Pokemon translates, it's probably the worst out of the weather trio, which is a little bit disappointing. As a flying type attacker, even as a legendary Pokemon, it's barely breaking into the top 40 with Air Slash and Hurricane. So to be honest, unless you wanted that shiny rate, which is going to be 1 in 20, this is probably a skip. We just had Shadow Raikou raid day. We really hope you enjoyed our video there, but more importantly, we hope you got great results. Some of the community members have been sending us some incredible things, but do not forget, this is your last week to get Shadow Cresselia and 5-star Shadow raids. If you didn't have that, remember that the shiny rate there is also going to be 1 in 20, but more importantly, Shadow Cresselia is not the best raid attacking Pokemon, but funny enough, Cresselia and Shadow Cresselia in the Ultra League right now perform really, really well. I think the non-Shadow form of Cresselia is ranked slightly higher right now, but overall, this is very much a great league Pokemon, so remember to raid them if you do want the shiny or if you are into PvP. Back to our calendar, remember, every Monday morning at 9 a.m. specifically, once you turn on your game, you will be able to get your Adventure Sync rewards. How this works is that if you had walked 5 kilometers during the week, you're going to get about 20 Pokeballs. If you walk 25 kilometers, you're going to get the 20 Pokeballs plus 10 Great Balls, an additional 3,000 Stardust, and if you do have an egg slot open, you will get 1 5-kilometer Adventure Sync egg, and if you don't have that egg slot open, you're going to get 3 rare candy or 3 silver pineapple berries. If you walk 50 kilometers, you're going to get the 20 Pokeballs, 10 Great Balls, 5 Ultra Balls, 10,000 Stardust, as well as a 10-kilometer egg if you do have that egg slot open. If you don't have that egg slot open, you're going to get either 5 rare candy or 5 silver pineapple berries. And if you walk 100 kilometers during that week on Adventure Sync, you will get 20,000 Stardust, including all of the above rewards. Please remember, if you do want the 5-kilometer and the 10-kilometer Adventure Sync egg, you need to have 2 egg slots open. If you do have only 1 egg slot open, you will only get 1 of the 2 eggs. But hatching from those 5-kilometer eggs is actually a very good pool. We have Riolu in there. The 100% hatch IV is going to be 567. Bonsly's in there at 744 CP. Turtoga's in there at 850. Skarmory's in there at 1204, as well as Archen for your guaranteed hundo hatch at 1052. And the 10-kilometer Adventure Sync eggs, we have a very good pool here as well. We have Dreepy in there at 438, Beldum's in there at 558, Drampa at 1665, Turtonator at 1270, as well as Gibble at 635. Remember to screenshot these if you want to remember. The reason why these 5-kilometer and 10-kilometer Adventure Sync eggs are so good is that the meta-relevant Pokemon that they hatch. And the 5-kilometer eggs, we see Riolu in there. As we know, Riolu can go into Lucario, but eventually Mega Lucario, which is currently the best fighting type attacker in the entire game. More importantly, remember, Mega Lucario has a Mega Lucario Z form, which will be coming out soon in Pokemon Go because of the Legends ZA game, and even Skarmory hatching from those 5-kilometer Adventure Sync eggs as well, guys. It's going to go eventually into Mega Skarmory because that has been released, and it's an absolutely brilliant Mega, a very good attacking Pokemon as well, especially when we look at its base stats in the other games. It's going to be a very, very good steel and possibly flying type attacker as well. In the 10-kilometer Adventure Sync eggs, of course, we have Dreepy going into Dragapult. That's also a very, very cool looking Pokemon, one of the better dragon type attackers in the game, and we will get a calm day for this Pokemon at least in the next year or 2, so make sure to try and hatch yourself a hundo if you are chasing it. Beldum is in the 10-kilometer egg pool as well. This Pokemon can go into Metagross, and finally Mega Metagross, which is again one of the best steel type attackers in the game, one of the best psychic type attackers in the game. You want to try and get this Pokemon at Mega level 3 as well, because for candy as well as XL candy gains, for whenever those steel and psychic type events come around, like a psychic spectacular for example, very good opportunity to reel in the candy and XL candy. Drampal also has another mega which will be coming to Pokemon Go for the foreseeable future. Again, a good opportunity to try and hatch that hundo there. And of course we cannot forget about Gible. That hundo hatch CP is going to be 635 CP going into Garchomp, eventually Mega Garchomp, one of the best megas in the entire game. Mega Garchomp is currently the third best dragon type attacker in the game right now, and it is the second best ground type attacker in the game with Mudshot and Earth Power. Remember, you will need an elite charge TM for Earth Power, but this Pokemon is absolutely brilliant, and it doesn't end there because there is rumors and there is leaks of a Mega Garchomp Z as well. Guys, these egg pools can serve you very well if you hatch the right Pokemon. Back to our calendar again, and you can see on Monday, it doesn't end there because remember, from 6 to 7 p.m. local time, the Max Monday is going to be featuring the debut of Dynamax Roggenrola. This is very, very important for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, Dynamax Roggenrola is going to go into Dynamax Gigalith. What makes Dynamax Gigalith so good, especially with a decent attack value, is that it will be our best rock type max attacker in the entire game, because remember, we don't even have a G-Max form that's been released as a rock type attacker. So this will take the #1 spot as your rock type attacker, and it does have access to Mud Slap as well, so you can use it as a ground type attacker, but unfortunately that move's also not very fast with a 1.5 second duration. But overall, the reason why this is so important and why it's been placed so well on this Monday is that remember, we have Dynamax Ho-Oh Raid Weekend coming up, and we will cover that in a little bit, including its own separate video. But guys, Dynamax Gigalith is going to be your best counter on this day. Do not miss the Max Monday of Roggenrola. That's everything to really focus on Monday, but do not forget about our Research Breakthrough box, which is going to be happening throughout the entirety of this Precious Path season, all the way until the 3rd of March. Remember that that is going to be your 7-day stamp, and the Pokemon coming as rewards for completing your 7-day stamps are going to be Lapras. That 100% IV is going to be 1131. We can see Galarian Mr. Mime in there at 886 CP. We see Snorlax in there at 1382. Dreepy's in there at 328. Honedge at 595. And remember, Sinistea can be in there at a 488 CP for your guaranteed hundo. Please remember that Sinistea could be an antique form Sinistea, so if you do get that reward, please check the silhouette to see if the evolution is going to take 50 candies, which would be the phony form, or 400 candies for the antique form. That is the best and easiest way to know if you do have the antique form. Heading back to our calendar again, moving on to Tuesday the 27th, and at 10 a.m. we have our first event of the week, one of the last events of the month, which is going to be the Into the Depths event. This is going to bring about the Pokemon Go debut of the rock and poison type Pokemon Glimmet, coming from the Paldea region in Generation 9. Glimmet can evolve into Glimmora using 50 candy, which is also a rock and poison typing. Although to encounter Glimmet during this event, you will only be able to encounter it through routes, field research, free timed research, as well as the paid timed research. It seems like routes during this event and leading up to the Kalos Tour are going to be a pretty big feature, and that kind of shows in the bonuses, because the bonuses for this event is going to be 3 times XP for completing routes, as well as half egg hatch distance. Let's touch on those routes very quickly. Once you complete a route, you would get 2000 XP, but if it's the first route of your day, you're going to get 4000 XP. And if you complete a route every single day for a 7-day streak, you're going to get awarded 12,000 XP, which is pretty good. So during this event, your first route of the day could actually grant you 12,000 XP. Remember, routes reward us with certain rewards. We can get Stardust at the completion of a route. We can get items like potions, berries, Pokeballs, and of course those Zygarde cells. We can get Buddy Hearts, which is of course that activity to follow a route. We can earn XP towards route badges for completing routes similar to gym badges. It's not going to be your best XP gains during the week, because we do have another big event coming up in this week that's going to be far better in terms of getting XP, but if you didn't know, that's just going to be the breakdown. We did mention that half egg hatch distance as a bonus, so let's see what Pokemon are going to be hatching from those 7-kilometer eggs, which would then half to a 3.5-kilometer walk in order to hatch these eggs. We have Diglett in there, Larvitar, Bagon, Dino, and Yungoos. The great thing about Yungoos and Diglett in this event is that they will have a higher chance of being shiny as well, whether we encounter them in eggs or in the wild. Speaking of the wild though, what will be spawning in the wild? It looks like we're going to see Diglett with a shiny boost, Dunsparce, Meditite, Yungoos. The best 2 Pokemon to probably go after there are going to be Dunsparce. Right now in the Great League, Dunsparce performs actually pretty well, and even its evolution, the Dunsparce in the Great League and Ultra League, is ranked relatively well, but Dunsparce definitely definitely performs better in the Great League. But please remember as well that once Dunsparce evolves into the Dunsparce, it either has a 2-segment form or a 3-segment form when it evolves. To get the 3-segment form in Pokemon Go, it's going to be a 1 in 100 chance. So you really want to try and get as much candy as possible, because I believe every Dunsparce evolution is going to cost about 50 candy. So you need to try and get enough candy if you do want to get that 3-segment form. We did mention that you can encounter Glimmet in field research, just to highlight what that 100% CP is, because you probably are going to want the hundo. That is going to be 720 CP for your guaranteed hundo. How good is Glimmora in Pokemon Go? Well guys, let me just tell you that Glimmora as well as Rhyperior are your best rock type budget Pokemon to power up in the game right now. But as we know, and if you didn't know, Glimmora is going to have a Mega coming into the game. Mega Glimmora will probably be the #1 rock type attacker, outdoing something like Mega Diancie. I think that is huge. Really good opportunity to go after a hundo of this Pokemon. We know we've just given you the details, but what we've done is done a full comprehensive video breakdown of everything you need to know about that Into the Depths event. Trust me, it's very worth it, because there are 1 or 2 things that you might be forgetting. We will leave it as a card above us right now, but at the end screen as well, we will leave it. Please check it out. It's going to be very helpful. Back to our calendar again though, and this is a big one. That's not the only thing going down on Tuesday. Please look from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Your spotlight hour during this week is going to be Foongus. And even better, it's going to be a 2x catch Stardust bonus. If you guys don't know what this means, this is going to be one of the best Stardust events of the entire year so far. If you guys didn't know, Foongus is a permanently boosted Stardust Pokemon, granting 500 Stardust per catch. During this hour though, because of the 2x catch Stardust bonus, it's going to be 1,000 Stardust per catch. I would strongly recommend throwing on 2 star pieces for the entire hour. This means that every Foongus you catch is going to grant you 1,500 Stardust per catch. I'm going to do the math for you very quickly. If you caught in and around 330 Foongus, which is very doable if you have enough bag space, you use Palkia Spatial Rend, including using an incense as well, guys, we're talking 500,000 Stardust in 1 hour. That is absolutely busted. Please do not overlook this. This is one thing in this week. You need to mark your calendar, set a reminder. You need to be playing Foongus Spotlight Hour if you want those Stardust gains. That's Tuesday out of the way, but what's happening on Wednesday, which is going to be the 28th? It looks like the only thing we need to pay attention to is going to be that Tornadus Raid Hour from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Unfortunately, we have gone through the base stats already. Unless you really need the shiny of this Pokemon, which is going to be that 1 in 20 shiny raid, it's actually a very beautiful shiny. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a bit of a skip this raid hour, but again, if you're just trying to get some flying type attackers in your team and you're a new player, this could be a decent place to start. That Into the Depths event is going to be carrying us through the week, but it doesn't end there. We've got 2 big ones and they are bangers coming this weekend. First and foremost, we have the debut release, including a max raid weekend of Dynamax Ho-Oh coming for the first time in Pokemon Go. It's going to be taking place from Saturday at 6 a.m. all the way until February the 1st at 9 p.m. So a full 2 days. This is going to be the introduction of Dynamax Ho-Oh in Pokemon Go for the very first time. It can be shiny. We're not sure what that shiny rate is going to be. I don't think it's as low as 1 in 20, but if you do get that shiny D-Max, it could be incredible. The bonuses during this event are very good too. The max particle collection limit will be increased to 1,600. It's going to be a quarter adventuring distance to receive the max particles. So normally you would have to walk 2 kilometers to get 300 max particles. Now you're only going to have to walk 500 meters to get that 300. Power spots are going to refresh every half an hour, and your max particle collection limit coming from these power spots is going to be 800, which is incredible. A free timed research is actually going to go live though right at the beginning of this week. One of the main rewards coming from this research is going to be a D-Max Kabuto encounter, which of course can go into D-Max Kabutops. This can be used as a rock type D-Max attacker, but as we've just shown you with Dynamax Roggenrola going into Gigalith, this is going to be a much better option to use. But that timed research is also going to get you Kabuto candy, max particles, and more to help you power up your battle team for that weekend. There will be an event ticket for a total cost of $5, and you're pretty much going to get timed research that's going to award you 6,400 max particles, including 25,000 XP, and you're also going to get 2 times the XP from these max battles, which is actually huge, as well as increased candy and XL candy coming from these 5-star max battles. Normally, 5-star Dynamax battles award you 15,000 XP, including 15,000 Stardust. This can be seriously multiplied. Just with this ticket alone, you're going to be getting 30,000 XP without the use of a lucky egg. With a lucky egg, we're talking 60,000 XP. And if you do use a star piece as well, we're talking about 20 to 25k per raid. Guys, do not overlook that. But the main question is, how good is Dynamax Ho-Oh even going to be in Pokemon Go, especially as a D-Max attacker? And unfortunately, even though its base stats are actually really high, it has a max CP of 4367, an attack of 239, defense of 244, stamina of 214, all of those are outstanding stats. However, as we know, as a max attacker, especially in the fire type category, it just doesn't get the best fast moves. Unfortunately, it gets Steel Wing, Extra Sensory, Hidden Power, as well as Incinerate. And Incinerate is the worst move to have because it is a 2.5 second fast move, which really works against it here because remember, it's not a G-Max Pokemon, it's a D-Max Pokemon. Because it shares a flying type, as you can see, it doesn't even have a flying type fast move, so you can't even use it as a flying type attacker, which is very, very disappointing. Overall, it's going to get beaten out as an attacker by something like G-Max Cinderace, G-Max Charizard, even D-Max Darmanitan is probably going to fall above it. But this Pokemon as a tank, especially in the future, could actually be relatively useful. We're just not sure in what category right now. So as an attacker, so there are better though. We're not going to go through the counter guide now because we will do it in our own separate video detailing the best strategy to take down Shadow OO and how valuable it really is. But guys, remember its weaknesses. It is weak to electric and water, but it is double weak to rock. That is where your D-Max Gigalith comes in. Remember what I said. Also, if you guys weren't aware, every single Ho-Oh D-Max raid is going to cost you about 800 particles, so just keep that in mind too. That is going to be happening through the entirety of the weekend, but it does not end there, and we've got a little kind of secret pro tip to add in here. On the 1st, which is going to be the 1st of February, we already have our first event of that, and that is going to be the Community Day of Vulpix in its regular form as well as the Alolan form. Your event bonuses are going to be 3 times Catch XP, 2 times Catch Candy, 2 times Candy XL chance. It's going to be 3-hour incenses, not including that daily incense. Lure modules are going to last for 1 hour. We can do 1 additional special trade per day, which actually takes us to a total of 3 because we're still in the middle of the Precious Path season right now, where we get 2 special trades per day. Please. In fact, I'm going to leave it on screen. We've seen some incredible results from this. If you guys want to know how all the pros get their top Pokemon, they don't just raid all day, they trade Pokemon. Remember, you can trade up to 100 Pokemon per day. If you trade with the best friend, the base floor is 555. This is your best opportunity, especially over time, to get hundos in Pokemon Go. And trades are also going to cost 50% less Stardust. Just to touch on the Calm Day moves very quickly, if you evolve regular Vulpix into Ninetales, you're going to get the move Energy Ball. This is going to happen up until 9 p.m. that night. And for Alolan Vulpix going into Alolan Ninetales, you're going to get the move Chilling Water. Again, all the way up until 9 p.m. In trainer battles, this move is going to do 60 power, and in gyms and raids, it's going to do 65 power. There will be special research where we can get special backgrounds for the Alolan Vulpix as well as the regular Vulpix. And if you guys are wondering how good the Alolan Ninetales is as well as the regular Ninetales, let me just say, as a PvP Pokemon, it has been shining for some time. In the Great League right now, the Alolan Ninetales in its Shadow form is ranked 63. The regular is ranked around 68. Ninetales, the Fire form, is currently ranked 89th, and its Shadow form is ranked 123rd. So very good overall. In the Ultra League though, they shine even better. The regular form, as of recording this video, and its Shadow is about 76th spot, and the non-Shadow form is hovering around the 88th spot, but the Alolan performs even better. Again, these are all with XL Candy. The Alolan form of Ninetales is currently ranked 51st with that XL Candy, and the non-Shadow form of Alolan Ninetales is around the 70th spot. I actually do have a rank 1 of the regular Ninetales, which I'm going to leave on screen right now. Did I evolve it? I can't remember if I've evolved it. Hopefully I haven't, so I can get the Calm Day move on it. As we said towards the beginning of this video, we've done a full breakdown of that Into the Depths event. Please check it out. We will leave it as our end screen, as you can see on my left right now. Guys, we really appreciate your support. Please smash that like, subscribe, as well as that hype button. It really helps out the channel a lot. But more importantly, I actually just want to take this moment to say we really appreciate what's been going on in the last 2 months. To be honest, the channel has really kind of taken a big upward curve, and that's purely because of you guys. And I just wanted to say from the bottom of our hearts, we are very grateful. We want to grow with you. We want to make this channel the best and biggest channel with Pokemon Go, and we believe we can actually do that with your guys' support. Love you so much. Go with us. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to go on, and I'll catch you on the next one, baby. Shh.